Hey, what's up guys? I'm back with another video here today. This time we'll be showcasing my Chieftain third mark game, quote unquote. The reason I kind of say it's kind of not my third mark game, because if you notice, when I turn my tank, I already have 3 marks on this. And the reason I'm kind of using this as my third mark game is because honestly, the game that I actually got 3 marks in this tank wasn't that great. It was okay, but it really wasn't up to my kind of standards or anything like that. It wasn't something I was going to show on the channel. It just seemed like a waste of space, in my opinion. I thought this was a much better game to highlight the Chieftain. And technically it was still a third mark game, because after I got my third mark in this tank, I actually dropped down below 95 again after a couple bad games. And I picked this up I played this on Saturday on Sins' stream while we were platooning together. So that's who I'm platooning with right now. Probably saw as I shared the screen earlier. But this game we were able to go back above that 95% mark and pick up the third mark again. So it's kind of the third mark game, if you kind of want to say it, but with an asterisk next to it, because it really isn't my official one. But it's a third mark game. Just put it like that. And our first shot here is already going to end up with a great result. This probably sets the tone for this game a little bit. We're able to put a shot into the T-49 and get him tracked, and he gets off the board very quickly. And then our own 13105 gets balanced for camping for 1400 damage by T92. And that's going to kind of set another tone for this game. And I'm going to be honest, me and Sins aren't really going to move up past this spot right here. And that's just because this map on Panama, this is the reskin version of Westfield, is that from this southern spawn, you spawn so far back that usually the enemy team is able to get to the hills way before you can. And you can see they already have an M103. Yeah, it could be argued we could have got up there, but in all honesty, all we're going to do when we get up there is probably get just focused by artillery and just caught in the open. And there's another chance that their light tanks could spot us and nail one of us, or they already could nail us as we're crossing in the open. So our game plan really from here, as you can see, the rest of our team didn't follow us up either. So pushing would have been a really probably poor idea, especially when the other team also had a Death Star platoon as well. And tanks like that, like the Chieftain, yeah, it's got pretty good turret armor, but if it gets hit by arty, it's pretty squishy, and you'll kind of see that later in the game. Spoiler alert. But yeah, we just kind of want to use this ridgeline to, I guess, it's just the secondary defensive, I guess, and mostly just using the angle of the slope to hopefully avoid or minimize the amount of chance that the T-92 on their team has it hitting us. You can see the fun that arty really brings to the game right here. We're just not allowed to push up onto the hill, basically. Like I said, we probably could have pushed, but I've been up in that situation so many times. At least on this variant, when you're in a heavy tank or something like that, it just turns into, you lose some health going up or something or another. And this just turns out to be the better play here in the end, especially with these tanks. And the enemy team, I was not the brightest, as you'll see here with this upcoming. I don't know what this IS-7 thinking. I mean, yeah, congratulations, my man. As you see, I don't know what our tortoise is doing either. Apparently he wants to run away. But at least their IS-7 got to ram our STI for a nice 600 damage. And now the mouse is making his attempt at a ram, but he'll be here in about 20 years, so it'll take him a while to try to get his ramming attempt in. And you think I'm kidding, but I'm really not. Apologize, I'm a little under the weather. We're recovering. But their team kind of just ends up throwing their tanks away. I don't really know why, but I'm not complaining. And we're able to really get this gun singing and put 2 shots into the E75 for he's able to back off into cover. And you see the mouse is finally starting to get here. His approach for the ram is very slow, but he's making his way downtown. He's not going fast, but you see he's slowly getting here. He's having a fantastic game. I don't really know what the idea here was, but... And he's picking up momentum now. He's going for the ram. And we're able to just narrowly dodge it. It's amazing we were able to get out of the way of that amazing attempt at a ram right there. It's just unbelievable play by myself. Just truly a great showcase of skill and reaction times. And now you see the rest of their team has gotten the same case of the YOLOs, I guess, as E75 wants to die as well, and now their SU-122-54 thinks it's a good time to also throw his tank away. And another heavy tank believes it's time to throw his tank away as well. You see we're already up to about 6k damage, and now we're going to use the wreck of the mouse as cover from the other heavy while we hopefully finish off the 122-54. And now we just have the T10, who's playing a little smarter, but he's using the cover of that dead tank, but he's really in a bad position also. Again, I don't know what their idea was here. It wasn't a good one. But up next we have an E4 who's like, okay guys, let's join the party. I want to throw my tank away too. And he's able to do that. Now we see the Death Star fired at us, so we're able to hopefully line the shot up, but it bounces off because RNG says no. Also angled back, so that's probably a good reason why. But with that push, we were able to rack up about 4,000 damage and 3,700 assists. And that's what I really liked about the Chieftain. I really like the gun on it. The gun is super good. Even when it lacks in the armor department, if you can get people to just do stuff like that, or just sit in front of the gun for any amount of time, if you can track people, you're gonna rack up the damage very, very quickly. And that's the main advantage I think the Chieftain has over the Super Conch. Generally, I still think the Super Conch's better, just because of the armor. And the rate of fire on the Super Conch is still really, really good. But if you're looking for that gun, and the gun alone, I think the Chieftain's better. And yeah, I mean, and again, the armor isn't that bad either. The turret, mainly being in the turret, great. You still have the weak spot on the top of the tank. But in most cases, I really like this tank. It's just a slow medium in a way. And now, at this point in the game, it's just me and Sins left really over here. There's a few tanks behind us, but they're more focusing on the other side. And this is where it gets kind of stale at the moment. And that's just because it turns into a stalemate against that Death Star platoon. We can't really push them because, well, one, they can one-shot us, or basically take our entire hit points. And plus, they're also going to spot us way before we even get close, usually. And the arty, who we know is looking over this way, is probably going to put a shot into us because we don't move very fast, and it's not very hard to hit these type of tanks. You're not in a medium, you're not in a fast light tank or anything like that. You're in a slow British heavy, and like I said, you don't want to get hit in this thing. You could very easily get one shot. So the play that I'm doing right here is a little risky, but I have an issue, and this is just me playing how I like to play. Excuse me. Is that I have a hard time kind of being patient, and that's just attributed to, I guess, the light tank gameplay a little bit. Also, it's just how I am. I'm not the most patient. I like to make things happen, and sometimes that gets me killed, and sometimes it wins me games. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, basically. But I don't like I mean, I say that because sometimes I let the enemy team make the mistake, but you got to know when to do both. And we see they already missed right there, thankfully. But on sometimes, especially in heavies and stuff like that, I will fluff up shots that, or overextend or something like that. And it's just something I have to improve on. And overall, you always want to have something to improve on. You always want to be kind of showcased or showing that. Basically. You see, now we get a little lucky because the Death Star is able to spot us, and his shot luckily misses us. So that's extremely good for us. Now the other flank is not winning either, mainly because we don't have any vision. That's just frankly the reason. Because all we have left is heavy tanks, and I believe they have the Death Stars, a 277, and then the Stridswagen that's tier 10, the Swedish TD. And we're able to put a good shot into the Death Star over here. Now, unfortunately, Sins is actually shooting at this guy, but is bouncing as he's talking to me on chat, which is annoying. Now, I'm using this E75 as cover, trying to hope Arty's not going to hit me. That's not going to be the case. As in a moment, you see we're going to lose about just a smidge over 1,200 health. Because we were trying to play a little too aggressive, so we got to get back to camping so that Arty doesn't prevent us from camping. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But we're gonna go back over here to our, I don't want to say our safe position away from the artillery, but it's a little less likely to hit. It's more likely to either fall short or go over the top. But in this position, we're kind of useless at the moment because we can't really spot them, and it's just kind of dragging the game out. As you see, we're only got a little over 3 minutes left. And I know we're not going to spot on that flank. There's the Swedish TD. We're not going to spot him, more than likely, unless he makes a drastic misplay. But the 277 is also over there, and I'm hoping maybe we can spot him. One of our heavies is making kind of a risky play here. He's going off to the right, and he's going to go spot up that hill, which is a little risky because there's another TD right ahead of us. Another one of the Death Stars. So he could easily just get shot in the side at this point. But we see that Death Star is on a one hit, and we're able to hit the crossbar, or the bar on the top of his turret, and take him out, which is a great result for us. That means in front of us, we're only facing one Death Star at this point, which should make it a little easier to push if we have to. And with only a little over 2 minutes left, we're probably going to have to. But luckily for us, our heavy spots the 277. We're able to track him, and luckily Sins is able to take him out. And at this point, I basically say that we only have 2 minutes left, and granted, we could just camp and win this game because we have more tanks, and we could just win like that. But that's not really my style. I know that may be a dumb move in some people's mind, and that's not totally wrong. But I play this game to have fun and to kind of push myself and see what I'm capable of, see what I can do. So I kind of test the waters a little bit, see if I could spot it, and see if the 183 is kind of looking. So I tell Sins that I'm going to push up and see if I can get to the ridge line before the Death Star is able to poke. And unfortunately we're not, but we're able to spot him as he's trying to crest, and we're able to get under his line of sight before he's able to poke up on the ridge. And also another key moment here is that right when I started out, the artillery had just fired, so that really cemented my push here. I knew I was going to go up, I was going to push this Death Star, this is my opportunity, this is my chance. And surprisingly, if you see on my mini-map over to the right, you can see that the heavy that pushed up on our team has actually spotted the Stridswagen, so I know I'm fairly safe. I don't have to worry about that guy popping up on my rear or taking me out. And I know this guy in front of me is probably looking straight ahead at Sins, and I think Sins is even telling me that. So it's going to make this engagement a lot easier. It's the beauty of having platoon mates. They will tell you information that you wouldn't always necessarily know. Here I try to go for the tracking, I believe, but it doesn't quite come off, leaving him on 420 health. It's a little risky doing that, but we're able to get a nice high roll, and we're able to do a little 420 blaze it. And at this point, with like 15 seconds left, I'm going to load a hesh round just in case I spot the artillery. The way those shots were coming off, it seemed like he was a little further up, and we were able to spot him with only 5 seconds left. And that was satisfying, especially after he hit us for over 1,200 damage. That was a very satisfying kill for our 7th and final kill. We're not able to hunt down the TD, but for the Radleys, but we're able to pick up just over 10k combined in the Chieftain and remark our tank. So I hope you guys enjoyed this overall. I just have a quick proposition. I don't know if anybody's interested in this. I'll probably do it anyways. But of me throwing together a compilation of like clips and funny moments from some of my recent streams. There's been some pretty hilarious things happening, so I may do that in the future, so look out for that. But until the next video, I will see you next time.